Brand new beer and brand new hops. Yep, we're going to Buxton and this is their Styrian Wolf. Brand new hop from Eastern Europe. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we are reviewing this beer, Styrian Wolf. Probably a badly pronounced way. I'll try again. Styrian Wolf. That's what I'm going to call it. This is a Lupulus X beer from Buxton Brewery, as you can see from the can. Now, Lupulus X, you may have seen, if you've been a follower on the channel for a while, I'm not even sure if it was, I don't think it was last summer, it might even be the summer before, 2021. Buxton released lots of beers. It started basically, they had a Lupulus X Citra, and that was in Tesco's, and it was a very good beer. I don't even know if it's still in Tesco, but if it's still available, it's one of the best Citra IPAs that I've had, certainly from supermarkets. And then they released all these other ones using predominantly English hops. So we had Jester hop, we had Godiva hop, Olicana. These are all sort of new British hops. To me, they had a lot of the same sort of flavours to them. But now we've got this one, and we've also, which will be coming up in another review, this one, which is also a Styrian, but this is a Styrian Dragon. So we've got Wolf and we've got Dragon, both using those hops, so the Dragon hops and the Wolf and the Dragon hops. Both of these hops are from Slovenia. I mentioned Eastern Europe in the intro. I'd completely forgotten which Eastern European country it was, but I suddenly remembered it was Slovenia. So it's Slovenian hops. And apparently, if you're a home brewer, they're very reasonably priced. I saw that on a Twitter thing today, or a Facebook post. I have no real knowledge of the actual hops in terms of what they're flavoured. I didn't want to go and do a research on the actual hops themselves because I wanted to sort of see for myself what the flavours are. And Lupulus X, basically, which is this sort of sub-brand by Buxton, is basically, it's the same brewed beer, but just in terms of the recipe of the beer is exactly the same across all the Lupulus X range, but the only difference being the actual hop used. And they're all single hopped. So I've talked enough. In fact, I've talked so much that I'm getting really even more thirsty than I was before. So let's crack this beer open, get it in a glass, see what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, as I said, the Citron was very good. There was a couple that were quite good, and I think there was one that was actually a New Zealand hop one that they did, which was really good. I'm a big fan of New Zealand hops. But I have no knowledge of what these are going to be like. I'm just excited because I just know that Citron one was really good. I mean, everyone knows Citra hops. But it's interesting to try new hops, and you never know, these hops could end up being like, some of the newer stuff like your Talus and your Sabro, those sort of hops that suddenly appear nearly in every other beer, basically, seems like. But beer in a glass, I mean, if we're basing it on looks alone, this looks incredible. Bright yellow, it looks very hazy. We've got a good 2 and a bit finger of white compacted head. I think that looks really good in the glass. These beers as well, 5.4%. So for an IPA, that's quite low, but certainly this looks the part of an IPA that's usually got a higher ABV than that. But I think this looks pretty damn good. So let's see what the aromas are like. Yeah, to me, there's a lot of characteristics with some of those New Zealand hops. I'm getting grapefruit and lemon and citrus fruits. There's also a little bit of sort of melon in there as well. It smells pretty good. It's got this sort of real fresh, bright sort of aroma. And actually, it's got the taste buds going. So let's go for it. Cheers, everyone. Interesting. So I'm getting a fair bit of pink grapefruit. I'm also getting a slight sort of, almost a creamy coconut. It's almost a little bit like to me, this is like a cross between Talus hop and Sabro hop. It's got those sort of characteristics. Pink grapefruit, coconut, and it has also got that sort of that creamy minty sort of flavour in it that you get with the Sabro sometimes. And just when you think, it's more Sabro, the pink grapefruit then comes through really in a big wave. So there's lots of tropical flavours in here, but there's a lot of those sort of those big sort of pink grapefruit, that talus. I mean, if I drank this blind, I would have probably said it's like a talus with a slight twang to it. It's quite light in terms of the body, but again, I say all of these are pretty similar in terms of body. So the amount of sort of wheat and oats in there are going to be the same. Big flavours of citrus fruits and but pink grapefruit is definitely the biggest flavour. But then there's this sort of subtle, I wouldn't even call it subtleness, it's just a sort of pockets or waves, because it comes in waves. You've got this, it sort of envelopes your sort of taste buds with this sort of grapefruit flavour. And then as it sort of mellows, you think, well, it's a little bit sweeter, it's a bit more pink grapefruit than normal grapefruit, but definitely the grapefruit is a grapefruit flavour. You've got sort of elements of other citrus, lemons and limes in there as well. But then you've got this sort of flavour that sort of comes in that's a bit pina colada-y, bit sort of that sort of pineapple, coconut, even a little bit of mint in there as well. You'd almost say that if you were drinking this, you'd go, oh, it's a Talus and Sabro hop beer. And that's the sort of flavours. I mean, if you know those flavours and you like those flavours, then I think you'll like this. It's an interesting one. It's almost as if they've hybrid those two hops together and made this one. It's nice. It's very drinkable. There is this sort of dry bitterness on the back end of that grapefruit, really, and it's coming through. So it's quite an interesting sort of, the grapefruit flavour is quite, it develops a little bit in your mouth, and it's complex in it. If you think about grapefruit, because you've got these sort of two different types of grapefruit flavors, but you can taste the distinctiveness between the two, and they come in sort of waves of a flavor. And then in the background, you've got this sort of slight creaminess, slight sort of coconutty flavor. Not as strong as the grapefruit. The grapefruit is a much stronger flavor, but it does something about that sort of slight coconut flavor, slight sweetness that just stops it just being a big grapefruit flavored beer. I think it's pretty good, and it's interesting, this hop in terms of those flavors. Sometimes with a lot of these sort of more newer hops, you can get all kinds of different flavors that you're not expecting. But this to me does taste like a very much a Sabro and Talus double dry hopped with those two hops together to create this beer. But it's a very pleasant beer, and I think in terms of this sort of new hop, it's definitely one to watch out for. Yeah, light, soft carbonation, very drinkable, 5.4%. You could almost say that's a good level for an IPA. It's not too strong, but at the same time, it's still got the body. Doesn't go too thin like a pale ale. So, Styrian Wolf. I'll be interested to see what the Dragon one's like. Whether there's much difference or whether they are going to be similar. But this is definitely one to watch out for. But let me know if you've had it before. I think these are literally brand new. Just literally came into my bottle shop just as I went in there. I didn't expect them because I hadn't even had them on their website. So I thought, well, I'm gonna pick them up because I'm always interested in trying new hops and seeing what it's all about. But let me know if you've either used these hops in your own beer, or you've had this, or whether there are other beers which have got this in. I presume that if it's a Slovenian hop, if there is a Slovenian craft beer scene, and I'm sure that then it's been used there, but I certainly haven't seen it before. So let me know in the comments what you think. Keep an eye out for it, it's worthwhile. So that's it for today. Going to do a scoring for this. Until then, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking and keep holding out if you're doing dry January. Not long to go now until it's February. And when February comes, maybe you should try this one. Until then, keep rocking. Okay, the scores are in for Styrian Wolf. These are two words that are not easy to say. But this is from Buxton Brewery, part of the Lupulus X series of beers. Brand new, definitely good, because you've got new Slovenian hops that we haven't really had before, and it's a nice beer. But let's go through the scores. Starting with aroma. Appearance. Value for money. Nearly forgot. Flavour. And my overall experience. Yep, it's a recommended beer. Total score off. Keep on rocking, folks.